Some people predict the future of newspapers. The end of newspapers is just around the corner. But that can't happen because newspapers and journalism protect all of you, protect society. We hold institutions, CEOs, and even your neighbors accountable for their actions. And especially in the world today, with unverified sources, questionable information, and really an abundance of information that is just of poor quality. It's the curated, edited, trusted information that rises to the top. And in today's digital age, newspapers and journalism matter more than ever.
Before breaking news came from a screen in your hand, it came from a paper on your doorstep. You'd flip through the headlines with your morning coffee. You'd recognize the faces in the stories, your neighbor, your coach, your mayor. The news was more than information. It was connection. Today, that world feels distant. The presses have slowed. The headlines refresh faster than we can read them. This is how the news evolved. From the heartbeat of our towns to the endless feed in our palms, and how somewhere along the way, we lost the sound of our own story. The age of ink and trust. There was a time when the front page decided what mattered. Local journalism was the thread that stitched communities together. Reporters walked the same streets they wrote about. Editors argued over truth, not clicks. And every paper carried a sense of responsibility to inform, to protect, to connect. It wasn't perfect, but it was personal. The broadcast revolution. Then came the voice. Radio brought the news to life. Faster, closer, emotional. Television gave it faces, images, and power. From moon landings to presidential speeches, the world gathered around the screen. But the closer we came to the world, the further we drifted from home. National stories dominated. Local headlines faded. And for the first time, the news wasn't about us. It was about them. The digital shift. Then the internet arrived. Fast, loud, limitless. Suddenly, anyone could publish, everyone could comment, and no one had to wait. News moved online, but newspapers couldn't keep up. Their readers left first, then their advertisers, then their buildings. Information became free. But the truth, that came with a cost.
There's so much information out there. It's the most exciting time to be a reader and a lover of media. If you want information, you can get it any time, at any place.
The social media takeover. What used to be a morning ritual became a constant stream. 1,000 headlines, 1,000,000 opinions. Social media turned the news into noise. And algorithms decided what deserved our attention. Now, we don't just consume the news, we compete with it. Every post, every share, every outrage becomes part of the story. But somewhere, the story stopped belonging to the people who lived it. The silencing of local voices. In towns across the country, newsroom lights went dark. More than 2,500 local papers have disappeared in the last 2 decades. Entire communities lost their storytellers. City halls stopped being watched. Voices stopped being heard. And when local journalism dies, democracy doesn't fall all at once. It just stops being seen.
There's a problem in journalism. We call some of the topics we cover the vegetables or spinach as if they're gross and people should be reading them, but they're not going to want to. It's a terrible attitude. If we can't take things that are important and meaningful in people's lives and make them interesting, that failure is 100% on us as writers. That is entirely our fault.
The age of content. Now the news competes with everything. A meme, a dance, a conspiracy, all sharing the same feed. What was once a craft has become a commodity. Clicks measure credibility. Speed beats accuracy. and engagement replaced trust. It's not that people stopped caring about the truth. They just got tired of trying to find it.
Journalism takes time to explain the whole story with multiple perspectives. News is just new information. When we demand more informative stories, we encourage the news media to supply us with longer, deeper storytelling. When we demand information over opinion, we push the news media to supply us with journalism over talking heads.
The cost of free information. When the internet made information free, it also made journalism broke. The ad dollars that once funded local reporters now go to global tech giants. They profit from the stories others write, without ever leaving Silicon Valley. For small-town newsrooms, the math stopped working, but the mission never did.
Imagine a world without media freedom. A world where those in power can get away with corruption. A world where the public is continuously exposed to lies, biased information, and disinformation. A world where no one reports on human rights violations. A world where crime and wrongdoings are never put under the spotlight. We need independent journalists to uphold human rights, realize citizens' right to know, and keep those in power accountable. When this doesn't happen, the loss is for all of us.
The rebirth of local connection. And yet, something's happening again. From podcasts to newsletters, from neighborhood blogs to local Substacks, people are rebuilding what was lost. They're taking back their stories, one headline at a time. Not because it's easy, but because it still matters. Because truth still starts at home, and connection still begins with conversation. The world will keep changing. The platforms will come and go. But the need to understand each other, that never ends. When local news mattered, we knew our neighbors. Maybe it's time we listen to them again.
We also live in an era of unprecedented technological upheaval that's transforming the ways in which we communicate. Of course, we're confused about who to trust. What has not changed is the power of the free market. Consumers have incredible influence over the news media. Supply always follows demand. We are the demand. We deserve news that helps us make better sense of the world around us. Let's restore our contract of trust in the news media by helping the news media help us. Let's restore our trust in the news.